Menglong's hair stylist revealed Duch's plan before he passed away. The world thought it had already heard every dark secret tied to Menglong's death. But this week, a shocking new voice entered the storm, one that had been silent for far too long. His personal hairstylist, Chen Rue, stepped out of the shadows with an account so unnerving that it's rewriting what fans thought they knew. Chen wasn't just any stylist. For 5 years, he was part of Menglong's inner circle, always backstage, always nearby, quietly grooming the actor's hair before shoots and whispering final words of encouragement before the cameras rolled. He knew the scent of Yu's cologne, the rhythm of his laughter, and the tremor in his hands whenever something was wrong. And according to Chen, something was deeply wrong, long before Menglong's mysterious fall that the media labeled an accident. Chen agreed to meet a reporter from the Global Eye in a dim cafe off Beijing's Wadeyaka district. The recording of the interview, verified and time-stamped, starts with his voice trembling slightly. "People think I'm scared to speak," he said, nervously twisting his fingers. "But I'm more scared of what will happen if I don't." According to Chen, the man now at the center of a growing scandal, Duch, Menglong's former associate and occasional investor, had been acting strange weeks before the tragedy. He used to visit the set pretending to be his manager, Chen recalled. But he wasn't. He was always whispering to producers, watching everyone. "You told me, Rue, something's not right. He's planning something." At the time, Chen brushed it off as paranoia. The entertainment industry is filled with rumors, jealousies, and manipulations. Yet, days before Yu's death, he overheard a conversation that now haunts him. It was late evening at Hongdian World Studios. Most of the crew had packed up. Menglong had finished his final scene, a slow-motion take of him walking through a rain-soaked alley. Chen was cleaning up his equipment when he heard muffled voices near the back exit. One belonged to Duch. "You think he'll say anything?" a voice asked. "Not if he's smart," Du replied. "He knows what's coming." Chen froze. He described it as one of those moments where your body knows before your mind does. The two men disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind only an unfinished sentence and a creeping dread. 3 days later, Menglong was gone. For months, Chen Rue stayed silent. He said nothing during the police investigation. He said nothing when fans demanded answers online. He tried to move on, taking freelance work in Shanghai and later in Seoul. But the nightmares followed him. Then came something even stranger, a message sent from an encrypted email address in late August. The subject line read, "You were there too." Inside was a single sentence. "He told me everything about Du's plan before he died." There was no name, no signature, only an attachment, a voice memo labeled YML Final. Chen said he didn't dare open it for days. When he finally played it, the voice was unmistakable. "Rue," Menglong said in the recording, sounding exhausted but calm. "If anything happens to me, don't trust Du. He said I owe him, but it's more than that. He said the show isn't over until the script ends, even if I'm gone." The tape cuts off abruptly with static. Forensic analysts later confirmed the voice was authentic, recorded roughly 12 hours before his fall. The revelation ignited a storm. Online communities exploded with theories. Was Duch orchestrating something behind the scenes? Was Menglong's death a warning, or the conclusion of a deal gone wrong? Chen's statement fueled speculation that the accident wasn't an accident at all. Social media hashtags like #JusticeForMenglong and #DuchExposed began trending across Weibo and X. Fans flooded Du's business page with demands for answers. When the Global Eye tried to contact Du for comment, his office replied with a short statement. "Mr. Duch has no involvement in the tragic death of Menglong and condemns any attempt to associate him with it. We will pursue legal action against defamatory claims." Yet, the response only made the story spread faster. Chen described another chilling incident just days before the interview. He claimed he was followed after leaving a studio in Chaoyang. "It was raining. I thought I saw someone standing by a black car, watching me. When I turned around again, they were gone." He later discovered his apartment door had been slightly open, though nothing was missing. On his coffee table lay a folded piece of paper with 2 words scrawled in blue ink. "Stop talking." Terrified, Chun took the note to a journalist he trusted, a woman named Han Yufei, known for her fearless exposés on entertainment corruption. Together, they traced phone records linked to Duch's company. What they found shocked them both. Dozens of calls placed to a private security firm the night before Menglong's fatal incident. Each call lasted less than 2 minutes. Han's investigation dug deeper. Through court archives, she uncovered that Duch had previously been accused of coercion and financial fraud in 2019, though the case mysteriously disappeared before trial. Several of Menglong's old acquaintances had tried to warn him about working with Duch, but Yu, ever the optimist, refused to believe ill of a longtime friend. Chun sighed heavily during the interview. He thought he could fix everyone, he said softly. Even people who wanted to destroy him. As the story unfolded, one particular moment began to haunt both Chun and Han. Menglong's final public appearance, a charity event broadcast just 2 days before his death. In the now viral clip, Yu was asked by a reporter about the pressures of fame. His reply was cryptic. "The hardest part isn't losing yourself, it's realizing someone else wrote your ending." Within 48 hours of Chen's interview going public, online detectives unearthed more. An old photo surfaced of Duch and Yu together at a private gala, standing beside an envelope stamped with a red seal. The file name in the photo's metadata? Project Phoenix. No one knows what it referred to, but insiders whispered it was the codename of a joint production, one that vanished from all studio schedules the week after Yu's death. Now, those who were once silent are beginning to speak. A makeup artist, a sound technician, even an assistant driver have come forward, claiming they too heard strange orders from Duch in the weeks before the incident. One technician recalled seeing Duch hand Yu a small black drive after a shoot, saying, "Keep it safe, it's our insurance." That drive, according to investigators, has never been found. In an emotional post shared late Tuesday night, Chun wrote on his verified account, "I wasn't brave then, but I am now. If you love Menglong like I did, help tell his story, not the one they wrote, but the one he left behind." The post has since been shared over 2.8 million times. Meanwhile, Duch's whereabouts remain uncertain. His luxury apartment in Qiang'S district was found empty last week. Security cameras in the area show him leaving in a black SUV on September 29th. He hasn't been seen since. A senior investigator, speaking anonymously, hinted at what may come next. "We're not just chasing a case. We're unraveling a script that someone tried very hard to hide." When Chun Rui's interview first aired, few believed it would survive more than a news cycle. But instead of fading, his words detonated across the internet like a chain of aftershocks. Within 48 hours, Weibo was flooded with grainy screenshots, alleged documents, and cryptic hashtags. The headline that once read "Celebrity Stylist Speaks Out" evolved into something darker. Chun Rui in danger after revealing Duch's secret. The morning after the broadcast, Chun was nowhere to be found. His neighbors in Beijing's Haidian district recalled hearing hurried footsteps and the echo of a slamming door around 3 a.m. A delivery driver later told police he saw a man matching Chen's description boarding a bus heading toward Qinhuangdao, a quiet coastal city 200 miles east. By sunrise, reporters camped outside his salon. The shutters were down, the mirrors inside covered with black cloth. On the counter sat a single envelope addressed to the global eye. Inside was a thumb drive labeled Proof 2. Forensic analysts opened the file that afternoon. It contained surveillance footage dated 3 days before Menglong's death, recorded inside the Hengdian studio wardrobe trailer. The clip was brief, only 24 seconds long, but every frame carried weight. Yu was sitting in front of a mirror, hair damp, speaking softly to someone off camera. "You can tell him I've done my part," he said. "But if this keeps going, someone's going to get hurt." Then he looked straight into the lens, as if he knew it would one day surface. "If they say I fell, don't believe it." The file metadata confirmed Chun had access to the camera. He'd likely installed it to test lighting angles that week. The revelation rewired everything. Yu had foreseen the narrative of his own death. That evening, police sources quietly admitted the video was under review. Unofficially, one investigator leaked a line to a Beijing blogger. This isn't an accident investigation anymore. It's a containment operation. The hidden pattern. Journalist Han Yufei, who'd risked her career to publish Qiang's first testimony, received an encrypted message from him 2 days later. The text read simply, "It started in Changsha. Check the files there." Following the trail, Han discovered that Chong had once co-produced a short film project in Changsha, a psychological thriller titled Echoes of the Script. The production budget was small, but its investors included a shell company tied to overseas accounts. Among its crew list was a familiar name, Menglong'S, uncredited consultant. Archive production notes revealed something chilling. One entry dated 2021 read, Scene 17, actor's fall must look real. Replace harness with modified rig. Han's heart sank. It was practice, she whispered in a late-night live stream. They rehearsed his death before it happened. Fans clipped the statement and it went viral. Within hours, the studio's servers were reportedly hacked. All traces of echoes of the script vanished. But fragments of the screenplay began circulating in fan forums, uploaded by anonymous insiders. In one draft scene, a character named YML writes a final letter that reads, "They think the script is theirs, but I wrote my ending in invisible ink." The eerie overlap with Yu's real-life final words sent the internet spiraling. Was the film a metaphor, or a confession disguised as art? The vanishing witness. Back in Qinhuangdao, witnesses claimed Chen Rui checked into a seaside motel under the alias Lu Heng. He paid cash, requested a room facing the ocean, and asked the receptionist a peculiar question. "Do you have blackout curtains?" 2 nights later, he was gone. Left behind was a single hairbrush wrapped in tissue, strands of golden brown hair still caught in its bristles, confirmed by DNA testing to belong to Menglong's. On the handle, written in faint marker, were the words, "He's still watching." When Han Yufei shared the photo online, it reignited conspiracy theories that Yu's case had crossed into something beyond human, whispers of surveillance, manipulation, and spiritual unrest. Even those who dismissed ghosts couldn't deny the symbolism, a hairstylist leaving behind hair as evidence, like a final plea for truth. Authorities announced that Chen Rui was now a person of interest, though critics noted the phrase often meant a liability. Anonymous insiders claimed an arrest warrant was prepared but never filed. Someone higher up had ordered a pause. The hidden recording. 2 weeks later, an underground tech group calling themselves Mirror Code claimed they'd recovered the second half of Yu's final voice memo. The one Chen had leaked partially in YML Final. In the newly surfaced segment, Yu's tone shifted from fear to defiance. "They think I'm trapped in their story, but stories leak. Rui knows where the drive is. If they find it, tell them it's already been seen." Mirror Code refused to reveal how they accessed the file, but digital timestamps aligned perfectly with Yu's known schedule. The group posted a cryptic statement on their forum. "There's another copy, hidden in the light." Fans speculated the light referred to a photography studio Yu once frequented in Shanghai called Lighthouse. Han Yufei traveled there and found that its servers had been wiped clean a week prior. But in a forgotten corner of the office sat a vintage camera. Inside its memory card, a single undelete photo. It showed you standing beside a mirror, reflection faintly distorted, with what looked like a second figure behind him, blurry, almost transparent. Image analysts couldn't confirm if it was Chong or a trick of the light, but one detail froze everyone. The reflection's hand was resting on Yu's shoulder. Yu's actual shoulder, in the photo, was untouched. The spiral of truth. Public outcry reached fever pitch. Major outlets picked up the story. Hashtags were banned, then reappeared under new spellings. Meanwhile, Han Yufei released fragments of Chen's diary, which she'd recovered from the motel. One entry read, "They told him art imitates life. But what if life was forced to imitate art?" Another, "Du said the project wasn't over. That Menglong's image would live forever. Maybe that's what he meant. Immortality, not murder." It painted Duch not as a simple criminal, but as an obsessive auteur who blurred fiction and reality. He didn't just want control, he wanted authorship. By now, rumors claimed Duch had fled China, possibly to Singapore or Vancouver. Yet a new CCTV image leaked online showed someone resembling him boarding a train to Chengdu under a false ID. Investigators refused to comment. Han Yufei ended her latest column with a warning. If Chen Rui disappears, remember what he said. He's still watching. Maybe the watcher isn't Duch at all. Maybe it's the truth itself, waiting to be seen. Epilogue. A week later, on a fog-filled morning, a fisherman near Qinhuangdao found a waterproof pouch washed ashore. Inside were 3 items: a USB drive, a comb, and a folded Polaroid of Menglong'S smiling with Chen Rui at a film wrap party. Written on the back in black ink. It wasn't the last cut. When investigators decrypted the USB, it contained a single folder titled Project Phoenix Finale. The file wouldn't open. It was encrypted with a password no one could crack. Online, fans began posting the phrase "it wasn't the last cut" as a rallying cry, a promise to keep digging until the real ending surfaced.